Good day. Welcome to Learning Module 1 in the Health 9 fourth quarter. So, our lesson for today, Intentional Injuries, Types and Characteristics, Part 1. Here are our objectives for the lesson. At the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to differentiate intentional injuries from unintentional injuries and describe the types of intentional injuries. But before proceeding to the lesson, let's first have a pre-test. Multiple choice. Read the statements carefully and choose the best answer by shading the circles. 1. It is something that you bring upon yourself or cause to have happen to you. A. Bullying. B. Domestic violence. Or C. Self-inflicted. It is violence or other abuse in a domestic setting such as in marriage or cohabitation. Your choices. A. Bullying. B. Domestic violence. Or C. Self-inflicted. Number 3. Defined as the willful and repeated following, watching, or harassing of another person. A. Bullying. B. Extortion. Or C. Stalking. Number 4. The act of getting something, especially money, by force or threats. A. Bullying. B. Extortion. Or C. Stalking. Number 5. It is the use of force, coercion, or threat to abuse aggressively, dominate, or intimidate. A. Bullying. B. Domestic violence. Or C. Extortion. And now, let's proceed to the recap. Crossword puzzle. Read the clues below and fill in the correct answer. So here are the correct answers. If you got the same, congratulations. So here are our lesson. Intentional injuries, types, and characteristics. The definition of self-inflicted is something that you bring upon yourself or cause to happen to you. Suicide is the intentional taking of one's own life. Many of those who attempt suicide do not receive mental and emotional counseling because their families try to hide the problem because they are ashamed of it. On the other hand, a suicide attempt in which a person does not intend to die is called parasuicide. It is often a cry for help, meaning the person wants others to know what he or she is feeling. Despite this, parasuicide should be taken seriously because it may also lead to death. How will you recognize a person who has suicidal tendencies? Oftentimes, the person gives clues through his or her behavior and speech. Some of these clues may be talking about suicide or death, writing farewell letters or giving away valuable things to friends and siblings, showing changes in behavior, moods, and feelings. Domestic violence is an act that includes physical assault, hitting, pushing, shoving, etc., sexual abuse, unwanted or forced sexual activity, and verbal abuse. These are behaviors that are used by one person in a relationship who tries to control the other. Domestic violence includes abuse and actions such as name callings or put downs, keeping a partner from contacting his or her family or friends, stopping a partner from getting or keeping a job, actual or threatened physical harm, sexual assault, stalking, intimidation. Who are the possible victims of domestic violence? Anyone can be a victim or is at risk of it, especially if his or her partner is very jealous and or spies on him or her, will not let him or her break off the relationship, hurts him or her in any way, is violent or brags about hurting other people, puts him or her down or makes him or her feel bad, forces him or her to have sex or makes him or her afraid to say no to sex, abuses drugs or alcohol, pressures him or her to use drugs or alcohol, has a history of bad relationship and blames it on others. Bahala ka. Bullying is an unwanted aggressive behavior. The behavior is repeated or can be repeated over time. Both kids who are bullied and who bully others may have serious lasting problems. An imbalance of power. Kids who bully use their power such as physical strength, access to embarrassing information, or popularity to control or harm others. Repetition. Bullying behavior happen more than once or have the potential to happen more than once. There are different classifications of bullying. These are verbal bullying, saying or written means and nasty things. It includes teasing, name calling, making inappropriate sexual comments, taunting, threatening to cause harm. Social bullying, sometimes referred as relational bullying, hurting someone's reputation or relationship. It includes telling other children not to be friends with someone, spreading rumors about someone, embarrassing someone in public. Physical bullying, hurting a person's body or destroying his or her possessions. It includes hitting, kicking, pinching, spitting, tripping, pushing, taking or breaking someone's things, making mean or rude hand gestures. Cyberbullying, verbal and social bullying done through use of technology and electronic means. It includes using social media, using mobile devices, using electronics mails. To check your understanding, let's try these activities. How safe am I? Copy the chart in your worksheet. Then complete this by putting a check mark to the column that corresponds to your answer. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a problem with the following? Never, rarely, sometimes, or often. So here are the guide questions. 1. Where did you experience or witness these situations or problems? Who were the people who committed these acts and behaviors? 2. What did you do in the situations that you experienced? 3. What do you feel towards the people who were responsible for these acts and behaviors? 4. Do you feel that you are safe from intentional injuries? Why or why not? 5. What could you have done to prevent these violent actions and behaviors from happening to you? To summarize what you have learned, let's do the wrap-up activity. Draw a plant on your worksheet. Then on each leaf, write the people you trust the most. You may use as many leaves as you need. Then answer the question that follow. Among the people you trust, whom will you approach, inform, or seek help from if you were A. Bullied by your classmate? Why? B. Verbally abused by teacher? Why? C. A victim of extortion of money by the local gang? Why? D. Sexually abused by your relatives? Why? E. Thinking of committing suicide? Why? F. Physically abused by your parents? Why? To check how this lesson affects you, let's do the valuing activity. Write a reflection on the things you learned in this lesson and their relevance to you. Tell how you can apply what you learned in your daily life and cite specific instances in which you feel these learnings will come handy. Post test. Multiple choice. Read the statements carefully and choose the best answer by shading the circles. 1. It is something that you bring upon yourself or cause to have happen to you. A. Bullying. B. Domestic violence. Or C. Self-inflicted. It is violence or other abuse in a domestic setting such as in marriage or cohabitation. Your choices: A. Bullying. B. Domestic violence. Or C. Self-inflicted. Number 3. Defined as the willful and repeated following, watching, or harassing of another person. A. Bullying. B. Extortion. Or C. Stalking. Number 4. The act of getting something, especially money, by force or threats. A. Bullying. B. Extortion. Or C. Stalking. Number 5. It is the use of force, coercion, or threat to abuse aggressively, dominate, or intimidate. A. Bullying. B. Domestic violence. Or C. Extortion. I hope you have learned something from today's lesson. Thank you.